Hello and welcome to round 14 of Grand Prix Kansas City. I'm Ben Swartz, joined here in the booth by Marshall Sutcliffe, and we have Derek Steele on the left-hand side of your screen piloting a Deceiver Exarch Splinter Twin deck, facing off against Larry Waymon's Merfolk deck. What a great match. Why don't you tell us a little bit about these decks, Marshall?
Yeah, so Larry Waymon's Merfolk deck is a really interesting one. It's based around the concept of making an ultra-linear tribal strategy based around Merfolk. And the fact is, with the card pool as big as Modern, you can play Merfolk, you can play so many copies of the Lords, as they call them, the ones that affect the other Merfolk on the table, that you can play almost only those. But there's a few that they'll play as well that are really good. There's a Mutavault there for Larry. Curse Catcher is one of them, and Silvergill Adept is the other. The rest should all be Lords of one type or another here. You also get access to Phantasmal Image to copy one of the Lords. They're not legendary creatures, so you can have as many as you can cram on the table here.
Yeah, and it looks like Larry's got a Sig River Cutthroat in his deck. That's a card I haven't seen in so long.
You went pretty deep here.
Yeah, he's going to play Spreading Seas. Wow, on that, Stomping Grounds. That's going to get remanded by Derek. Derek here is on, as we said, Kiki Pasture Might Splinter Twin deck, but he's splashing green, it seems, as you see that Stomping Grounds.
Yeah, that could be for Ancient Grudge out of the sideboard.
Yeah, looks that way.
I do not see any green spells in the main deck here.
It's a singleton Stomping Grounds.
Yeah. Which is interesting because Larry looked to lock down that Stomping Ground right away to try to keep his opponent off of green mana, but he doesn't probably know what he's up against here.
Yeah, another Steam Vents for Derek.
I mean, if you're sitting in Larry's seat, you know, it looks like you're playing Scapeshift of some sort here.
Certainly. So Larry here going to play his second island. He has access to quite a few different Merfolk cards. He's got a Merfolk with a Pearl Tridents. He's got another Spreading Seas. Looks like he's got Vapor Snag, a Remand, another island, a Sig River Cutthroat, trying to decide between what he wants to do here.
Now remember, those Steam Vents both act as islands, so that means that Lord of Atlantis is a really important card here, as it's going to give his Merfolk Island walk.
Spreading Seas seems to be the play. Larry really does not want to have let Derek have the green source.
He thinks he's cutting him off from a key mana source. Now there's
Peel's Aether Vial off the top.
Windmills it. That's what he wanted on turn 1. He's going to have to settle for a turn 3 Aether Vial instead. You see Derek turn his land the other way. Now the Spreading Seas accomplishes a few goals here for Larry. It lets him draw a card for cheap. That's nice. It also potentially blanks colors of whole colors from a person's deck, and it also makes that particular land an island, which enables cards like the Lord of Atlantis that you see in his hand to become much more effective. It's essentially making all the other Merfolk around unblockable.
So Larry's just going to pass the turn here.
He's got a Remand in his hand.
Okay, so Deceiver Exarch comes down.
So you see the Shatterpaws from Larry as he's like, wait, Deceiver Exarch?
Yeah, the jig is up.
Yeah, so now he knows that that green mana source wasn't as important as he thought it was, and he's got to be confused at this point. I would have thought the same thing being in Larry's seat, that I was playing up against more like a Scapeshift deck.
Larry wants to decide whether or not he wants to use Remand here. He has that Vapor Snag in hand, so doesn't need to use it here. He's just going to let that resolve, and Deceiver Exarch is going to tap down an island. Larry says okay.
He can still Remand and Vapor Snag with the mana he has up, and right away Splinter Twin's going to come down, but
Vapor Snag.
Vapor Snag. Return that Exarch here.
Uh-oh.
Pact of Negation is going to get remanded here, though. Or actually, it's not going to get remanded because right now Derek doesn't have enough mana to pay for the Pact when it goes back to his upkeep. And that's it. Larry Waymon takes game 1 off of a key Remand.
Yeah, who knew that Remand could win a game?
Exciting stuff. Derek Steele went for it. He's like, look, I mean,
he wasn't even close to being dead there. I guess he thought that he had it.
He must have thought he had. I mean, what about like if Larry has mana leak there? Same situation, right? Pretty risky play there by Derek, I guess, in retrospect.
Yeah, actually, Larry played it really well there because if he didn't Vapor Snag first, then the spell would fizzle, right? So
yeah, that was interesting. I mean, Derek Steele did have packed backup, right? So if Larry only has one spell that can interact with what's happening,
he wins.
Then he wins.
I guess it wouldn't fizzle, but still,
yeah, but it's so you know, I don't think that it's. I think that it's fair for Derek to not play around Vapor Snag necessarily. Like, I don't know if he knows Larry's list and he knows that that's a card that people play that often. Larry needed a 1-mana spell plus a 2-mana counter spell to make that, to get the win right there. So
I don't know. Maybe
it's hard to imagine, I think, on Derek's side of this table exactly what Larry can have, that he needs 2 spells that interact here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I would have just let that resolve, Vapor Snag resolve, but I mean, he's sitting at X and 2 here with top 8 contention on the line. Don't forget, guys, that Magic the Gathering Worlds Week starts July 31st, runs all the way through August 4th. We start with the Magic the Gathering World Championship. The best 16 players battle head-to-head for tons of cash and tons of pro points for the following season. And, of course, there's the World Magic Cup in between, where the best players from the countries all over the world to compete to be crowned World Magic Cup champion. And then the finals of both events will be shown on Sunday, August 4th. You can watch all the action live right here, twitch.tv/magic, and catch up on it via dailymtg.com. Don't miss this.
Yeah, this is going to be amazing. I'm super excited for this week. I think it's going to be one of the highlights of the year for the Magic, high-level play schedule. We're going to all look back and be like, man, you remember Worlds Week? That was insane. I think that's going to be one of those things.
Last year, these two events were 2 different periods, and I watched them separately. I actually went to the World Magic Cup. The fact that they're together just makes it just one nonstop action-packed week of Magic. It's going to be so thrilling to watch. Let's take a look at the lifetime money leaders in Magic. Sitting at the top, of course, Kai Bude with $364,000 he's won over his lifetime playing Magic. Just on his coattails is John Finkel with $352,000. What's interesting to note here is Luis Scott Fargas. He's in contention to be part of the Pro Tour Hall of Fame this year. He's up for a vote. Mm-hmm. He's only $2,000 short of Raph Levy. Unfortunately for Luis, he picked up his 3rd loss here a round or 2 ago. I was going to say that he had the chance this tournament to jump Raph Levy in the lifetime money leaders, but it's not going to happen for Luis. I think he's got a good shot of making the Pro Tour Hall of Fame, though, this year. You notice that everybody above him is in the Hall of Fame. Everybody's made more than $242,000.
Kilber's below him. He's in as well. Yeah, that is interesting. The Hall of Fame discussion is alive and well on social media in the last week. The ballots went out earlier in the week, and I think that it's one of those things that when it comes around every year, it always creates a lot of discussion. There's no shortage of controversy when it comes to the Hall of Fame. You can follow on Twitter at #MTGHOF.
Yep. I think what's interesting here is Martin Yuza, $169,000.
That's a lot of money, buddy.
Yeah, I'm really surprised by that figure. Not that Martin Yuza is a slouch. He's one of the best.
Well, he does wear basketball shorts kind of everywhere, so.
He's one of the best players in the game, one of the best limited minds. Usually seen on the Grand Prix circuit, winning tournament after tournament after tournament. Has a number of Pro Tour top 8s, but impressive list there. And players are ready to go for Game 2 here, back with Derek Steele versus Larry Waymon.
Waymon has a Pithy Needle in his hand here.
We can use that to name either Deceiver, Exarch, or Pestermite, or Kiki Jiki. Remember, Splinter Twin gives the creature the ability. So if Larry's able to name the right creature, then that creature will be unable to use the Splinter Twin ability.
Now, he can't name Splinter Twin, though, right?
I mean, he can name it.
But it just doesn't do anything. Yeah, so.
But turn 1 Aether Vial is exactly what Larry wants to see here. I'm pretty sure Force Spike is not in the format here, so Derek's going to have to let that resolve.
That's right.
He'll go and find Stomping Grounds.
You see him immediately go grab his green source. This could be an indicator of an Ancient Grudge in his hand already.
Ancient Grudge out of the board. The reason he's got that one of Stomping Grounds in his deck. And
we're good. Okay.
Derek goes to his turn, sitting at 19 life, draws Desolate Lighthouse. second land says go.
All right, so no grudge. He doesn't hold a grudge.
Ether Vial gets a charge counter, ticking up to 1. And now Larry's turn to decide what he wants to do. He can cast that Merfolk of the Pearl Trident and wait, or he can cast that Silvergill Adept, revealing the Merfolk of the Pearl Trident. Ether Vial that Merfolk in next turn. Alternatively, he can cast one of those Pithing Needles. It seems a little early for him to do that. He wants to be a little wary of maybe a Remand or a Counterspell. Seems like he's a little safe now, but you never know with that Splinter Twin deck. You can go end of turn on turn 3, Deceiver Exarch, Pastor Might.
Right, so Lord of
And
Atlantis is
Splinter
going to kick off things, but it's going to get instantly remanded. Ooh, there's a response, though.
Oh, wow, I did
Nice.
not see the Curse Catcher.
Curse Catcher gets flashed in off of Aether Vial. It's going to get instantly sacrificed to keep that remand from resolving, and Lord of Atlantis is going to stick.
And there's a Spellskite in Larry's hand. That's actually huge. Larry's got nice protection here. He can use Aether Vial to flash in the Spellskite in response to Derek's attempt to go off. And that would really disrupt the combo, being able to steal the Splinter Twin and put it on his own Spellskite. So Island for Larry. He has the ability to cast a couple of spells here. Looks like he's going to think here. He's got that Lord of Atlantis. He's looking at if he plays it, he can attack for 3, Island Walk. That's what he does. He goes in to swing in. Derek falls to 16 life. Derek's really content here to cast Deceiver Exarch at end of turn. And now the question is, what does he tap down? Does he tap down the Aether Vial? Does he tap down the Island? He's going to try to tap down the Aether Vial. Response, Larry's going to activate and play Spellskite.
That's so nasty.
It means that Derek can't go off this turn.
He cannot Splinter Twin this turn.
And then that means that Larry has an opening to play Pithing Needle on naming the Deceiver Exarch.
Right, because he'll now know that that's going to be the one of the possible targets here.
Yeah, it's either Kiki Jiki or Splinter Twin. Both of them are still not going to be able to win through the Spellskite. So Derek's just going to play Desolate Lighthouse here and start looting, the loot house, if you will.
Yeah. So does Aether Vial tick up? No, it's going to stay at 2, it looks like.
Yeah, I think there's a Silvergill Adept and no second Merfolk in Larry's hand.
Okay. Silvergill Adept will be huge here, though.
Yeah.
It's going to get +2/+2 from both of the Lord of Atlantises.
There's a Ghost Quarter also in Larry's hand, so if he wants to try to take out that loot house, he can.
Now, he's got to be worried, though, about giving Derek perhaps a second red mana source that he doesn't have on the board currently.
Yeah.
We know he's got a Steam Vents in his hand, but Larry doesn't.
So Lord of Atlantis is going to come in, 2 3/3s with Island Walk.
Yep.
So Derek's going to fall to 10 life, and a quick clock has been put on by Larry. If he does in fact have that Silvergill Adept, that's lethal damage on the following turn. He's trying to decide if he wants to play that Pithing Needle, and he is. What is he going to name? We're going to get our crack coverage reporters on the floor to tell us.
He
Points
pointed
at
it for us.
Deceiver
Yeah.
Exarch. Okay,
Thank you,
so
Larry.
that makes it so that Larry can't go off here by casting Splinter Twin on the Deceiver Exarch, and this puts Derek in a pretty precarious situation.
It really does. He's under a lot of pressure right now, and remember that Aether Vial is ready to go too. Get that Silvergill Adept in play as well.
I mean, Snapcaster off the top, but if Larry's last card is in fact Silvergill Adept, that's game. There's nothing that Derek can do here. He's going to pass the turn. I guess there's no Silvergill Adept.
Okay, so there must not
I
be
must
one.
have missaw. Mistaken the Curse Catcher for the Silvergill Adept.
Okay, I forgive you. All right, well, speaking of Curse Catcher, here is one. He's just going to hard cast it. Derek Steele sitting at 4 life, really needing things to shape up for him very, very quickly here. He does find a Lightning Bolt. Not bad. That is a 3/3 Curse Catcher, though. Currently. Sulfur falls for Derek Steele. Means he's got plenty of mana. Ooh, is that a Slag Storm in his hand?
Ooh, Slag Storm
Oh,
comes down.
man, Slag Storm. That is going to
Devastating.
kill everything except for the Spellskite on Larry Waymon's side of the board. He can start to rebuild if he's got another Merfolk in his hand and that costs 2 mana, but...
Well, he can sacrifice the Curse Catcher to force Derek to pay 1.
Sure.
That's what he's going to do. Might as well.
Go down, swing it.
And Lightning Bolt's going to take out the Spellskite.
Oh, only an island in hand for Larry, so all of a sudden Derek Steele has fully stabilized thanks to that Slag Storm. That is absolutely fantastic card against Larry.
And now Derek, somewhat in the driver's seat here.
Yeah, I mean, he still has the Deceiver Exarch.
Kiki, I think, does it.
Did he draw Kiki Jiki?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So make
Larry has nothing in hand here.
1,000,000 guys if you don't have anything. And Larry is just looking at it.
20 million.
What are you going to do with that Deceiver Exarch? I'm going to use it to tap Kiki Jiki and make 1,000,000 guys.
Yeah,
That's
he actually
game.
made 20 million guys.
Oh.
Yeah. And that's
quite a
it. Derek Steele is going to equalize here against Larry. Larry won a very, very quick game 1 thanks to Derek's own Pact of Negation. And
There you see the
Derek's
key,
able to equalize here, though.
the key cards in the Splinter Twin deck. The plan, just like you saw, is to attack with an infinite number of hasty copies of Pestromite or Deceiver Exarch, using either Splinter Twin or Kiki Jiki. And there's cantrips that you can dig through your deck. Desolate Lighthouse, as you saw, be used in that previous game to allow you to dig through for your 2-card combo. I mean, it's kind of unheard of in Magic, especially in a format like this, to have a 2-card combo. It's usually 3 cards.
Yes.
Although there is one card combo in the form of Living End.
Oh, right.
But it's got tons of redundancy. You know, you've got like 8 to 16 copies of your combo cards. And as you saw there, Derek Steele was able to even up the match at 1 game apiece against Larry Waymon's Merfolk deck.
Yeah, the key card in that game was certainly Slag Storm.
Yeah,
and those type of big sweepers are really good against the Merfolk deck. You know, obviously, there won't be any supreme verdicts here, so that isn't a worry. But Slag Storm does a really good job. Now, if Larry can, let's take a look at Seth Manfield on the right versus Sam Beaulieu.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Sam's record is, but Seth is X1-1 currently, and he's playing Malirapod. Sam seems to be playing Burn.
Oh wow, yeah, Vexing Devil, Skullcrack in there. Yeah, that's definitely a Burn deck.
Vexing Devil comes in. Post combat, we've got a Skullcrack. A Skullcrack in response to the Kitchen Fink, so Seth doesn't gain life, but Sam's still in a little bit of trouble here. Is he actually at 20? If he is, not for long.
The other one's going to come to me.
Because Seth's going to get in for 5.
He's got 2 active Deathrite Shaman there.
He can start gaining some life, or he can start burning out Sam. Looks like right now he's going to remove Vexing Devil to gain 2 life.
You like this deck? And
Put himself a little bit more in the clear, and do it again. Go up to 17, putting him in a really good position. He's up a game here, and with only 2 cards in hand, it seems difficult for Sam to do something here. Facing down an army of creatures and a player at quite a bit of life.
Yeah, at 14 life, it's just Sam's deck hasn't done what it wants to do. He'd rather have Seth down to 3 or something here, where he's got a lot of live draws to finish him off.
So 5 damage for Seth, dropping Sam down to 10. Post combat, Seth's got to play.
then he followed up with Primeval.
Is Seth who you said you saw play against
Ari.
Ari last round?
Yeah.
There's Linvala.
Fine shape till that happened.
Really just another creature here. There's a Lava Spike off the top for Sam, but these are the type of draws that he's going to be getting at this stage of the game. And like I said, if he manages to get his opponent whittled down to 5 or less life, then he's got a lot of live draws. But sitting at 14, there's just no way he's going to be able to do that much damage, right?
No, I don't think so. Looks like maybe the Grand Prix Daytona Beach champion, Seth Manfield, is going to be able to win this match. Although we got a Rakdos Charm and a Lava Spike that's
1,
Not
2,
gonna-
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wow, that's a pretty nice chunk of damage, though,
But
out of
not gonna
nowhere.
be
but
enough.
Still not enough.
Seth Manfield is going to win the match 2-1. He's going to continue at 1 loss and 1 draw heading into the final round of Grand Prix Kansas City. And we're back with Derek Steele versus Larry Waymon. Looks like both players are going to keep their hands. Turn 1 curse catcher for the merfolk player.
Does he use it? No. He's going to let him have a sleight of hand here.
You'd rather hold that for maybe a remand or something.
Or a removal spell, yeah.
Yeah.
Turn 1 curse catcher's okay.
Not as good as a turn 1 ether vial.
That's correct.
Wow, you got me. Excellent.
Interesting. I see there's an Echoing Truth in hand for Larry Waymon. Another sideboard card for him.
Okay, land go for Derek, sitting at 19 after getting cracked in by that curse catcher. And another 1 point.
Yeah, now he can... I see he's got a Silver Gill Adept this time.
Does he have another merfolk?
I don't think he does, and he doesn't want to... He wants to make sure he gets that card. He also doesn't necessarily want to play into a counterspell there. I see a Lightning Bolt in hand, and also...
Well, that's a curse catcher off the top, so he can cast that Silver Gill Adept and a second curse catcher and draw a card.
These are good on all utilities. Right. Early part, but not. Yeah.
Larry weighing his options.
I see that Derek Steele has a... has a Combust.
That one can't be countered. That's probably in a sideboard for the mirror match, but definitely does some work here, as it would also do some work against those green-white aggressive decks that we saw earlier piloted by Paul Rietzel. So Larry is able to cast that Silver Gill Adept, showing the Curse Catcher. So it only costs 2 mana. Deceiver Exarch at end of turn is going to tap down an island. Larry's going to waste no time vapor snagging.
Yeah, he was going to lose his Curse Catcher there and also become tapped out with one of Derek's key win conditions on the battlefield, so there's just no way he could let that happen.
Derek takes 1 from that vapor snag.
Yeah, that's a long time. Okay, go ahead. Used to snag your Undelvers.
Another Deceiver Exarch drawn off the top,
The last round guy was like snagging
and Derek
his own
just
stuff.
passes the turn. I think he has to discard on 8 cards. I guess not. He's got 7.
7.
Trying to set up a kill on the following turn. He has that Splinter Twin in hand. Does not have a 4th mana though. He's trying to decide if he wants to cast the Deceiver Exarch on... Oh, okay, he's discarding the Kiki Jiki. Fair enough. Okay, so we're back to Larry's turn. His army's not super big, just a 2-1 and a 1-1.
Yeah, he
Does
has
have a Reedry.
He has a Reedry, okay, because otherwise, yeah, he needs to start getting some Lords on the table here, though. That Reedry is just going to end up eating a Lightning Bolt, and he's got to be really careful because he knows that Derek has the Deceiver Exarch in his hand. If he flashes it in and Larry somehow is tapped out and doesn't have access to that Echoing Truth,
Yeah.
he could just lose.
Well, Larry, I think, can play a land here, play Marrow Reentry, and hold up 2, or he played the land already, so
Yeah.
just passes the turn. Derek's going to play Deceiver Exarch, tap down an island. No land for him, though, so he's not going to be able to jam that Splinter Twin out there. But little does he know, Larry does have that Echoing Truth, which could disrupt the combo. Back to Larry's turn. He draws a Mutavault off the top. Great manland there. And Curse Catcher is going to come down. Larry's going to pass the turn. Another Deceiver Exarch. He's going to tap down an island. Larry says, sure, no problem. We know that Larry still has that Echoing Truth. Ooh, and Desolate Lighthouse comes down, and Derek's going to go for it. Splinter Twin on Deceiver Exarch. Deceiver Exarch's going to get Echoing Truth. Splinter Twin hits the bin.
That's both Deceiver Exarch as well, so
Yeah.
pretty big tempo hit there
Yeah.
on for Larry.
Gives Larry a big opening here to attack in for a bunch of points of damage. He can play the Marrow Reentry and attack in for What? 2,
Seven.
4, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yep.
Because of the mutavault.
10.
10. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. And that's what he does.
Nothing like a 2-turn clock.
Drops Derek down to 6 life. And says basically to him, you either have me or you're dead.
Yeah.
Unless you've got a slag storm would be just
Yeah.
brutal. But
He's got multiple lightning bolts here, though.
he also has, Larry also has those double curse catchers, so you need a slag storm and another land. There's a first lightning bolt on the Reejerey. Does Larry want to try to do something here to protect it? I think he's a little stuck.
Yeah, he doesn't want to start throwing away his curse catchers when he knows that Derek Steele's not going to be able to go off this turn. He asked him, how many cards does he have? And he says, the full amount.
Yeah, Larry, it's a critical decision here. I mean, he still has lethal on board without the Marrow Reejerey.
Right.
But maybe it's worth trying to tap down Derek a little bit by sacrificing his curse catcher. And he's going to sacrifice one of them. Derek happily pays. Is Larry going to sacrifice another? He has a Vapor Snag. He's going to use the Vapor Snag on the Reejerey.
Interesting. So he let him get one of his curse catchers, but also, at the cost of tapping down a land for Derek Steele, and that's pretty important here. That means that Derek's not going to be able to play Deceiver Exarch at all. He does have another Lightning Bolt, though, or a Combust.
Yeah, so if he combusts the Reejerey here, then
He'll be at 1.
yeah, he'll fall to 1 after taking 5.
Though any Lord from Larry's side of the table would be lethal.
Yep. He's just gonna let that happen. Larry falls to 19. Life total doesn't really matter here.
So let's see if Larry needs a 2-mana Lord now.
He draws an island.
He's got an island, so he'd need the Reejerey plus like a Lord of Atlantis to finish him off this turn. Because Derek Steele's going to combust the Reejerey when it comes back down.
See what card that is? I just was rearranging his graveyard.
19 to 6, right? Correct.
Yeah, so Larry has that Reejerey. He can cast it. It's probably going to get combusted. Yeah, Reejerey's okay. Fire up that Mutavault and to attempt to attack for the win. Combust takes out the Reejerey.
But still a productive turn for Larry, as Derek Steele still doesn't have enough mana to actually cast a Deceiver Exarch and a Splinter Twin anyway. So Larry is under no danger of outright losing the game this turn. And he's got Derek down to 1 with 3 creatures on board, including a Mutavault. Meaning that even if, Derek were to come up with, say, a Slag Storm with a couple of mana available, he still could be facing down lethal Mutavault just on its own, especially because right now Derek's big problem is that he's only got the 2 red sources. It's really crimping what he's trying to do here.
I mean, Derek can survive for one more turn by casting Deceiver Exarch, tapping down the Mutavault, being able to block the Silvergill Adept, and then lightning bolting the Curse Catcher.
Yeah, he also can cast Deceiver Exarch, untap his red source, and then double bolt and a block. So he's got options here. All right, here he goes. Larry Waymon crashing in.
Here comes Lightning Bolt.
So do you Curse Catch here?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think...
Oh,
Snapcaster?
he's got a Snapcaster Mage for the Lightning Bolt. All right, so Derek Steele will have completely stabilized here, and it's going to depend... just a lowly Aether Vial and an Island for Larry here. We're going to blocks.
You block the Silvergill Adept and you attempt to Lightning Bolt the Curse
because
Catcher.
you want to sacrifice it to counter it anyway, and so you're losing it either way.
Okay,
wow.
Empty board. Just an Aether Vial for Larry, like you said, Marshall. And pass the turn back to Derek, who draws, Ancient Grudge.
Man, Derek Steele looks to be fully in the driver's seat after facing down 3 lethal attackers on that last turn. He took care of all of them. And all of a sudden, he's in a great position here. What is he going to get?
He's going to flashback sleight of hand here off that Snapcaster Mage. Take a look at 2 lands. That was a Steam Vents, right? Yeah,
yes.
Steam Vents. He's got a Misty Rainforest in hand, but it's kind of cackling at him because he can't sacrifice it sitting at 1 life.
That's right.
Larry draws his card for the turn. Is that another island?
This deck does not run that many lands. It has Aether Vial as a form of ramp, so to speak. It only needs 3 lands to fully operate, and he's got 6.
Splinter Twin off the top for Derek gives him the combo. He can end of turn Deceiver Exarch, untap, cast Splinter Twin, assuming that Larry doesn't have anything there.
Now, unfortunately for Derek, Larry has 3 unknown cards in hand to him, so he's got to be careful about getting too aggressive with it. Larry decides to play a land. I think I just would have held that one. You really want to give Derek a lot to think about as far as trying to go off here. But he's not going to bother. He's just going to run it right out there.
And there's an Echoing Truth drawn off the top on that last turn. Wow. That's going to disrupt the combo for 1 more turn.
Effectively, well, I mean, the Splinter Twin's in the bin now,
yeah,
so does he have another? Or?
He does not have another.
All right, so that's going to buy Larry potentially a lot of extra time here.
He's still facing down 2 points of damage return from that Snapcaster Mage.
Larry is barely hanging in here, and he needs to get some forward momentum going. He finds a Mutavault. That's interesting.
Okay. And Kiki Jiki off the top.
Means that Derek can play that other Deceiver Exarch in his hand, lock down that Mutavault just in case, and then try to combo off on his turn.
Looks like a Ghost Quarter off the top for Larry. I probably would not have played that, right?
No.
Derek,
I would have kept both of those, the Island and the Ghost Court. You just need to make Derek respect the fact that you could have something here.
Larry taps down the Aether Vial. Second Deceiver Exarch is going to tap down the Mutavault. And Derek's going to be able to untap and slam that Kiki Jiki down. And we know that Larry doesn't have anything. So Kiki Jiki comes down off screen, and
there
that's
it is.
The match.
Wow, Derek Steele finds a way to beat Larry Waymon after being way behind in that game at certain points.